want, what you want.
To start off, we're going to add the teeth that we previously made to our Joker. Now we're starting on the top lip here, and I wanted a little bit of a staggered effect. So I got two of these front teeth that are on the outside and one to the inside. Now to keep this from bulking out, using a Dremel tool, I sanded down the top side of the tooth to get it about as flat as I possibly could. Now once I got it flat, but not too thin where it wouldn't break, we just simply add this to our structure with a little bit of hot glue. Now all the rest of the top teeth are going to be set on the inside of the mouth. So we're just going to take those and put them up, take a little measurement, cut off some of that toothpick so it doesn't stick all the way through, poke a hole on the bottom side, add a little hot glue, and then just set the tooth into place. We're going to do this, the same procedure just like this, to each one of these teeth that we set in the top side of the head. Once all the top teeth are set in place, we're just going to do the same procedure on the bottom. However, on the bottom, we're going to set all the teeth behind the lip line that we previously put in place when we were building the armature. One at a time, we're going to poke little holes, cut off the excess toothpick, and then shove them down into place. Now, the thing on this one where I made a little bit of a mistake, as I started setting these teeth in, I realized that they were bunching up way too close to the tongue. I hadn't made that lip line wide enough, so my teeth weren't lining up with the top and they were getting too close to the tongue. So to correct this, which is great about mache, I just simply took an X-Acto knife and cut off the outside edge of the lip on each side. This is truly one of the benefits of paper mache. Anytime you find a mistake, you can always go back and cut away your old work to correct it. Now that I had both sides cut away, that left-hand side on the mouth had quite a bit of a gap, so I went back in and stuffed a little bit of newspaper back in there just to stiffen it up more. Now that we've got this correction made, we're just going to go back like we did before and set all of our bottom teeth. Now when I set these teeth, once I got them into place and I was happy with the way they looked, I really laid in quite a bit of hot glue just to keep them into place and help seal up the mache on the bottom side. Now I didn't worry about laying any strip mache over these cut areas, because when we go and clay in the gum line, we're just going to clay right over these areas, and that clay will seal up all these open holes. Now that I got all these teeth set back into place, there was still a pretty big gap back here on this left side of this lip. So I just went back in through with some masking tape and covered that hole up, and we'll clay over that later. Now that all the teeth are in place, we're just going to take clay and create our gum line. You're going to do this by first, you're going to push that clay in between the teeth, because you want that clay to go around the teeth and to the back side of the mouth. You do that on every single one of these teeth, and as each piece of clay is applied. Now for me, sometimes I find it easier, especially in tight areas like teeth and around these areas, to use a small paintbrush dipped in either paper mache paste or water to help form and create the gum lines in between and smooth that out so you don't have any rough edges left. And you're just going to continue in the same fashion. Just like you see on the top, you're going to do the same thing on the bottom gum line as well. Remember to push that clay in between the teeth and work it in between so that it gets a good seal all the way around your teeth from front to back. Now while I got the clay out and I'm working with it, I'm using it to build up some of the upper lip line here. I'm also going to use the clay to create the nostrils for the nose. And we're going to add a little bit of clay to the top side of the nose to make it look a little more round. With just this armature skin we have and the strip mache and the shop towel we used, it's still a little rough and not quite it's round but not really round. So just using the clay, we're adding in the details to the nose itself. We're creating the nostrils, we're creating this detail underneath the nose, and then we're going to create a more round shape to the tip of the nose itself. As you can see in this video, I have really found over time that a paintbrush dipped in mache paste or water, like I said before, has become a very valuable tool in creating detail within your clay and to help smooth it out as well. On this project, these features around the mouth and the nose were the last of the features that I was going to build out with clay. So once I got these done, I let that set and dry completely before I started this step here, which is I'm using cotton balls dipped directly into mache paste to skin the Joker. It had a neat texture, I liked it, so I continued on with this theme for the entire Joker so that all the outer skin had the same texture to it. Now the reason the rag is in the mouth, you see here, my mache paste was very, very thin, and as I applied this these cotton balls that were dipped directly into the mache paste, you can see it drips down quite a bit, and I didn't want a lot of paste gunking up into the mouth of the Joker, so I put that there to catch all this excess mache paste that was dripping down as I was working on the face. But as you can see, if you play with this cotton, you can create ridges and you can create detail in it as well. It's not as easy as clay, but you can create those features. Now, because this paste was so thin and I kept experiencing the problems with it running down, when I applied this piece of cotton, I didn't put it directly into the paste. I put the cotton on dry and then applied the paste to the cotton. Now, I didn't overly saturate this cotton either. The whole reasoning for this for me was I knew as I put more cotton or more skin onto the Joker, I was wanting this piece to catch and absorb as much of that paste as it could before it ran down onto the teeth, so I wasn't constantly trying to go back and clean the paste off of the teeth before it dried up. So once that was set into place and I was happy with it, I just continued on with small little pieces of cotton ball that were once again dipped directly into the mache paste to bring out these features of this upper lip and around the nose and back down around the side. I also realized while I was working on this, as we'll see here, you could take little pieces of cotton ball and create just small minute detail in the face as well. I know I'm repeating myself here, but as I said earlier, you could just use these small little pieces of cotton to add the detail and bring things out. So the little portion under the nose here, it needed to change up a little bit, and versus going back and using the clay, I wanted to be to a finishing state, so I just used the cotton ball to make some corrections and add some more detail here underneath the nose as well. So to create the upper lip, I did the same thing, a piece of dry cotton that I put on first, and then using a paintbrush dipped in mache paste, I started forming the lip itself. Started in the center and added the mache paste and really kind of smashed that down to get a crevice in it. And then after that, just lightly, very lightly applied the mache paste to the cotton ball. I didn't want the cotton ball to smash in, so I just lightly applied it. That way that paste would saturate into the cotton ball, but leave it puffed out as well, so we actually had a lip. I know creating a lip with clay is a much simpler way to go. That's how I usually do it. But again, in this particular Joker, I was playing around with different materials and textures and just trying to see what I could accomplish with these cotton balls themselves. This lip looked pretty good here, but I knew this was going to shrink once it dried. So I waited 24 hours, let it dry to have a look, make sure I was happy with it. I was pretty well happy with the results. So I just continued on skinning the Joker with cotton and paper mache paste. I built the side portions of the lips, brought that down to meet the front of the mouth on the lip, and then just continued skinning this Joker with cotton ball and paste. Now I covered the entire Joker with this cotton ball and paste from front to back, so every bit of the skin has the same texture all the way around. Now that the Joker was skinned and dried, it was time to create the hat. So what I did first was took some cardboard and I cut a bunch of triangles the exact same size like what you see right here, just to form the accent pieces in the hat. So once those were cut out, all I did was go around the Joker, around his head, all the way around, and just hot glued these into place. Once I had all those hot glued into place, I just bent over the tops a little bit to create an arch on them. Now to create the headband, or the first part of the hat itself, I cut a piece of blue paper towel about 2 inches wide and then folded it in thirds until I got down to about a ½ inch and laid it up on there, see what it was going to look like. I was happy with the look of it. So once I was happy with that look, I just took that piece of blue shop towel, dipped it straight into the paper mache paste, wrung out what I could, put it back on the table, folded it in thirds again, smashed it out, got as much of the excess glue out as I could, and then wrapped it to the head. This was just the beginning, or to set that baseline of the hat. Once that was in place, then just one piece of blue paper towel at a time, I loosely set it into place on the hat. Now, as I did this, my technique was I wrapped these accent pieces first and then came back through in the middle in between each one and set a new piece of shop towel until I got myself all the way around this entire hat and got the entire hat covered with blue shop towel and let it dry. Now, I didn't worry about trying to smooth out wrinkles or make it, flat against the head. As far as I was concerned, the more wrinkles the better, because this is a hat itself and there should be some wrinkles and some fitting that's not quite right on it. So to try to keep that and keep this look of this being a hat, like I said, I just loosely put it all into place and basically just let it stay where it lied. Once the entire hat is completely covered with this blue shop towel, you're completely done, and all we have to do now is paint. What you want?